Gotta have the hands up. All right, everyone. We had some technical difficulties, but don't you fret. We are AI advanced people who can work through technical difficulties. We are here. I am Jonathan Carford, aka Coach K. This is Jonathan Moss, aka JMO. And we are the co-founders and hosts of the AI Business Network podcast. So just to make sure everyone knows what in the world we're doing, AI Business Network is all about bringing people together, business leaders inside of finance, legal, revenue, HR, learning, whatever you're at, in both smaller companies and Fortune 500 companies to help understand how we can use AI to actually make a difference and actually have measurable, impactful, that's the right word, measurable, impactful impact on revenue and business. So that's what we do. So I'm so excited. We're running a bit late, but we got a lot of good stuff going on. So JMO, how you doing, man? What we got cooking?
I'm living my best life, man. This has been a great start so far. I mean, I think we should we need a blooper episode. That's probably what we need with your freeze frame. That's going to be the best. Okay. All right.
The freeze frame. Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the docket since we're behind. All right. Here we go. So first thing up, Salesforce, that's 8 billion acquisition of Informatica. Is that an AI power play? So what does this all mean? Salesforce just dropped $8 billion. It's a move that's turning heads because obviously, Informatica, for those who don't know, is a big data management platform. And so ultimately, as you all, if you didn't know, you need data in a good place, and it's got to be tagged. It's got to have all these things in order for AI to work properly. And so obviously this is a big move for Salesforce, showing that they're betting big on AI. So what will happen now is they will become a leader in enterprise cloud data management. And for those of you that are Salesforce fans, they have a data cloud, but it's not really that great. So most people don't implement it. They implement, like a Snowflake or things like that. So this is an actual, in my opinion, a power move here to really help their Agentforce platform be able to create this unified architecture for AI agents. So I ask you, Mr. Coach K, what do you think about this? What do you think about Salesforce making these big moves? I don't know if you've messed around with Agentforce at all, but ultimately, how do you think about this? Where does this put Salesforce in the mix with the OpenAIs, the Anthropics, the Groks, all the good players today?
I don't know. I don't know if I would put them in the same categories, OpenAI, Grok, or that kind of stuff. I mean, not that they couldn't be there, but it is super interesting to see what they could do, because I think that I have a spicy take, and we've talked about this before, but I think that the classic CRMs that we have known in the past are a thing of the past. Like, we haven't quite transitioned over yet, but there's a lot of people who are bypassing CRMs to have like data from whatever source pumping into a Snowflake of some kind or a data lake, and then accessing the data that way in conglomerate using prompting as a methodology to get the information they need to, which is kind of crazy, or that, or some sort of RAG concept. So I think this move for them to do this is smart, because I think they kind of see the writing on the wall of what may be happening with CRMs. So I just don't know where they're going to go, because the issue I've had with Agentforce, and a lot of people have had with Agentforce, is that there's been a lot of promises and not a lot of follow through, and not as much as they thought, So I don't know if I told you this out loud, but like at Gartner, every Salesforce presentation I went to, they had a thing at the very, very first slide was, don't buy based on future state products, buy on current state, as a disclaimer, like a legal disclaimer. They have to say, please make sure that when you, like, they spoke the whole disclaimer over the microphone before they started the presentation. Salesforce in every presentation at Gartner. So I was just like, a lot of people were told a lot of things in Agentforce last year. It was like October when it launched, I think. So I don't know how fast this is going to go. I think that in general, larger companies, because of the infrastructure and people, and are going to have a hard time kind of adapting as fast as they probably need to. So I think it's a good move. I just don't know where it's going to go, how fast they're going to do it.
Yeah. I agree. I think they got to do something, right? And I'm to your point, they did make a lot of promises. They showed a lot of good kind of Figma files and things, and haven't delivered a lot since then on that, at least from the perspective that I have. And if anyone out there has a different perspective, I'd love to hear that and see it. And also, just to kind of throw in another little spice here that's not part of the docket, but if you notice, they actually just changed their price. And I'm going to take credit for this, by the way. I don't take credit for a lot. I don't take credit for
you take for their okay. It's good to know.
And I'm going to tell you why, because I was one of the ones that they came to about Agentforce. We're a big Salesforce user, and
really,
and yeah, they wanted us to like, we have a need for this. We have a need for different capabilities that they could serve. And when they got to their pricing, they said it's $2 a message, and and I laughed, and I thought they were joking, and they weren't. And I was like, wait,
wow,
you're gonna charge me $2 regardless of if it generates the outcome I'm looking for, or executes it properly, or gives me ROI, or any of that stuff? And they're like, yeah, that's our price. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'll go somewhere else then. Thank you for your thanks for your offer. But now, if you look, they actually changed their pricing, and it's now based upon outcomes, and it's like in credits, like 10 cents based upon completion of a task or completion of an outcome.
Nice.
So I can't take credit, but I will do what I can. But getting back to the thing, so.
Right.
I agree. I think they've got to do something. And I'm with you on this, that the CRM as it exists today is not going to exist in the future, I don't believe. And so that is their core business. That's their cash cow. And they obviously have to do something. And I think that they have the answer right in front of them. By the way, I want to shout out Alina from a co-CEO of and co-founder of Chili Piper, because she's doing this today. She's got a data in Snowflake. They're using Gemini and N8N and other things, and they're actually running go-to-market with a lot of these agents without a CRM. So I think it's possible today if you really want to do it. And I think, to your point, they see the writing on the wall, and I don't think Mark can go down in history as the guy who transitioned the software, from on-prem to cloud, right? He went out and kind of did his thing. He sees this coming, and he can't be the one that then gets caught behind, I don't think. And if I had one recommendation, so Salesforce, if you're listening, I think you have all the pieces, man. How many users do you have in Slack today? Use Slack and put everything else on your back end. Make it easy to manage data. Make it easy to update automations and things in your CRM. Allow your Agentforce to be triggered from Slack, because you don't do that today, at least not to my knowledge. You've got the ingredients. You can do it. I believe in you. Let's go.
If they need help, come talk to Momentum. We'll help you. We'll tell you how to do it.
There you go.
That's what we do.
Momentum, because Momentum's already there. They're way ahead of you. So now we've
been there for 2 years, bro. Where you been? Come on, give the program.
Yeah, here we go. So got to catch up mode. All right, cool. So next on the topic is ChatGPT's memory upgrade. So ChatGPT, I can't even speak today. ChatGPT just got memory. They've had it for a little while, but they just made it a little bit of upgrade. So now it remembers not only who you are, what you like, but the key thing here is it remembers your past chats. So the original memory was based upon like things that you said in a chat, and you could tell it to remember it, or you could add things. Now it's going to be able to go cross chat with the memory.
Right.
So this brings in a whole new ball game, and you and I have talked a lot about memory being one of the moats, because ultimately, like, if you're storing these long conversations and you're getting personalization and tailored responses, me, what I like, the things I talk about, the things I do, ultimately when agents come along, what do you have to have for agents? Agents have to be trained. They have to know you. They have to know those things. And so now this opens that door for not only knowing more about me and being more personalized with better responses and outputs, but also it opens the door for when whatever they're going to release, they keep saying they're going to release these agents. When they release these agents, them to be trained specifically on you and personalization. And the moat that I mentioned that I think is really key here is think about how hard it would be to switch to a different model, go from ChatGPT to Anthropic, for example, unless you can port over all your memories. So the more memories you have, the more usage is going to be more sticky. So I think this is a really good move, and they're really out in the forefront of memory so far comparatively to everyone else. And old Sam talks about that this is kind of the foundation for building a true AI assistant. And I agree with him. So I'm curious, how do you think memory can change the role of AI in business? So, whatever, whether it's go-to-market, whether it's business overall, But what does memory give us that makes us kind of go to another level using AI?
Well, I have maybe somewhere we may disagree. We have found a thing we
Uh-oh.
disagree on.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if maybe not disagree is the right one, but I think it may be a different lens. I would love it if inside my chats, that kind of like how you do web search, you toggle on and off and that kind of stuff. I'd love to have memory be a toggle, because sometimes I don't want the memory in my chat. You know what I mean? I do a lot of analysis where I'm trying to get an objective view, and I don't want to have the memories of all my past chats skewing the new things. I want to have an objective point of view. That's a big reason why I use AI, is because I don't want to have it think the way I think. I want to have a different point of view, So for me, I'd rather have it be a toggle that I can choose to have it something. Like there might be something around my career. I'll be like, now go look at all my past stuff. Like with the Academy, when I go into my ChatGPT, a lot of my memory bank right now is Academy type stuff. It's nice to say, hey, reference this prompting technique and then make me a prompt, and then just does it, But there's other times where I don't want it to reference that. So I think it kind of depends on the use case, I guess. That's just my opinion. Because right now I turned memory off because I was like, I don't want it to bug me,
Really?
Yeah. Because I found it skewing the results. So I didn't like it. And it's not because I don't like the concept of personalization. I do. I just want to have the power to be able to choose when I use it or not. Does that make sense? So yeah. What do you think?
No, that makes complete sense. I don't. So it's interesting because you would think that, and I haven't played as much with it, but if you're getting some bad outputs, then obviously that's something that they've got to figure out and fix, right? Because you're exactly right. The reason that you want to use AI in a lot of scenarios is because you want it to pick out your blind spots or help you think of things you haven't thought about, or more deeper on a topic or something than you're thinking today. And if it knows you, maybe it gives like responses, and that's not what you're looking for. So that's one side of it. The other side of it is, if I'm using it more in the future, and maybe this is where they're headed with it, in their perspective of this, is if I'm doing more personal stuff like booking a vacation, buying my groceries, making me restaurant reservations, making me doctor's appointments or things like that, which is all things that they'll be able to do more on the personal side versus business, then it does make sense. So I like the toggle. I wonder though, that's obviously something that a user has to remember. It's just one more thing, kind of like the model picker, which I hope one day they freaking get rid of, because it's like, well, I don't want to go through a list of models. I just want to use the most optimal model for what I'm trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Most times, right? You and I are a little different. I'm saying this in general because most people aren't, I see people using like a reasoning model and they could have just used like basic 4.0 and been just fine, right?
Fine. Yeah.
But ultimately you want some of this not user selected. So hopefully as they build this out, they get smarter about that, where it's like, if I'm doing certain things, I don't want the memory to persuade, alter the output, because it's taking those memories and it's making, it's making an outcome or the output based on those. So I do agree with that. I am a fan of memory though, because I do think, it's almost like the legacy phone, where your contacts and all your information was on there, and the cost of switching is so high because it's so painful to get everything over, that I almost go back to those days working in telecom and see this as kind of that same type of thing. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, there's huge benefits to memory. Like, please know, I love the thought of memory. It's just, again, I want to have control over when it gets employed or not. Because to your point, from a personal assistant, I would love nothing more than to have an AI remember all my medical records and all that stuff. Like literally, I'd be okay with that, because I always forget stuff of like saying, oh yeah, I had that small procedure that wasn't a big deal, but I did it 5 years ago. I had my allergy shots or whatever the case is. It's super random that you don't do for 5 years or whatever. So that kind of thing can be really, really potent. It's just, again, I want to be able to know when I'm using that or not, So
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So speaking of this, and this is kind of the interesting. So AI embedded messaging is becoming more of a thing. So Meta was kind of the first to do this, I believe. I could be wrong. You're more of a historian than me, so you may tell me I'm wrong here. But I think Meta was the first. They started embedding AI in all of their apps: WhatsApp, Facebook. They've made a kind of a standalone Meta AI app, Instagram. So they started doing this. And actually, they just announced this week that they have over 1 billion monthly active users. That's Billy, on Meta AI, which is absurd. However, I wonder if that's like just someone basically like playing around or something like that, because it's right in front of you. I mean, you have Instagram up, you have Facebook up, you have WhatsApp up. So I'm wondering, like, is this true like usership? But interesting enough, our boy, yes, friend of the pod, Elon Musk here. Come on anytime, we'll have you.
Come on anytime, Elon.
He just plopped down 300 million to be able to embed Grok into Telegram. And I didn't know this because I'm not a Telegram user, but they have over they have 1.1 billion plus users globally. So it gives them basically a similar reach as Meta does. So super interesting. So now we're in this chat duel with AI. So I'm just, and I think about this in Slack too. We just actually talked about Slack, because what happens in Slack? That's where people are today. So do you think, like, what's your perspective on this? Is this like the approach? We're going to not have standalone apps and we're going to use chat? Or do you think that we'll still use that? Because I mean, I don't, my perspective on this just quickly is I haven't used it in any of the chat apps so far. I use the Gemini app. I use the Claude app. I use the ChatGPT app. I haven't used it in chat yet. I don't know if you have or not, but what's your perspective on that? Are we going to go to messaging, or are we going to stay kind of standalone? Or do you know?
It's a good question. What's funny is that Llama has actually got some pretty impressive numbers. So if that's the thing backing up Meta, like, it's got a massive context window. It scores really well on the logic scales. It does really good with that. But like you, I use AI every day and I barely touch Meta. I don't know if it's because it's just the thing. I just don't feel like I get a lot of value out of it personally, Now the concept around WhatsApp, like, it's hard to, like, I remember when I was working in South American country and even Europe, it's big on WhatsApp. Everybody uses WhatsApp, and I'm a Telegram user. I love Telegram. I get all sorts of news and a bunch of groups I'm in. So I use both apps, and like you and I just started a new AI nerds channel on WhatsApp, just with some people who are nerding out on AI stuff. So there's definitely things there. It's just, I want to see where it would help me make the connections better. Because most of the time, like, one of the people in our group said that she uses WhatsApp because that's where she keeps track of things she's really wants to be aware of. Because she's like, Slack gets so busy I can't keep track of it. But WhatsApp's where I pay attention to things I want to pay attention to, which is why I made it, because she asked me to make it in WhatsApp, not in Slack.
Okay.
So I was like, that's interesting. So I don't know if it's just because Slack gets so busy and noisy with work that people want to escape that, and they use WhatsApp or Telegram as an escape, But from an AI agent perspective, like, you can use WhatsApp, Telegram, or Slack as your agent interface to do whatever you want to do, which is kind of fascinating, But to your original question, are we going to go all chats? Like, unless those chats become advanced with visuals, I think that's the thing you're missing a lot. And I don't mean like GIFs and that kind of stuff, but like actual visuals where, think about, like, if you could have a Claude interface inside of a Telegram where it creates images or graphics or even that kind of stuff, I think it'd be really, really cool. And then you wouldn't need a whole lot, but still, there's still some things I do on my computer I don't do on my phone, So it's like, kind of depends on the different stuff. But what's going to be crazy is when these apps, we go from phone apps and computer apps into lenses, and it's like in our meta world here, So like Telegram becomes an app that I'm scrolling through, like a Tony Stark hologram thing, That's what's going to be cool. But
I'm going to throw a curveball question at you here in just a second after I answer this, because you just sparked I'm actually curious on your I'm curious on your opinion. Actually, let me ask you that, then I'll go back. So glasses. Okay, so we know last pod we talked, Sam Altman's making the power Steve Jobs move, and acquiring our buddy, yes, also friend of the pod, Johnny Ive, best designer in the world, and they're making something. Do you think? So the question is, do you think it's glasses, or do you think it's something that we don't know about, form factor wise? Pin it, something, I don't know. I'm curious, because you mentioned glasses. That's what Meta has today with Ray-Ban. Seems like it's being somewhat successful based upon their earnings report and their trajectory and things like that. And I do agree. I think that who wants to hold this thing and have it around if I can just like wear some glasses and do everything I need. But I'm curious,
Yeah.
they have something sneaky up their sleeve, you think? What do you think?
I don't know, man. This is where like the whole Star Trek thing comes in. It's like you know, like you have those things on their chest, or even have things behind their ear, like click
Yeah.
that and like it goes, you know, like there's all sorts of crazy things you could go with. I kind of feel like though the whole privacy comes in mind because like even now with call recorders, some people are sensitive to certain call recorders who do like emotional or physical body language analysis or like tone of voice analysis. And people are like saying, like, I want to have a choice if my voice is being analyzed. And same thing with the glasses. If someone has glasses going everywhere they want, like they're recording people who may not have opted in to being recorded, you know? So I think privacy is going to come in mind, which makes me think that maybe there's going to be areas like smoking or something where it's like, this is a hologram safe place or something like that. I don't know, but something
You
where
heard it here first. Hot take.
here first, hot take. Yeah. But it would just make sense that privacy thing would come in mind because it's such a big deal with this whole AI thing. And the possibility of like having some sort of mechanism, whether it's a bracelet or something where the hologram, again, I think about Marvel or Star Trek, of those kind of things, of those becoming more and more real, of like, if I could have my computer set up now instead of screens, but it's a hologram. Or it's almost like that one Tom Cruise movie where he could see into the future and he was a cop. What was it called?
Oh, yeah, I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
But the same thing where he like could scroll into like that kind of thing where it's like this, again, a holographic experience. I feel like that's the direction it's going to go. Cause like even Google, when they release their stuff, their new thing is like this 3D video experience with live chats, you know? So I don't know if glasses is the thing. I wouldn't say it's not, but I don't know if it is, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's going to be,
I think it's one of a couple form factors, right? I think it's definitely going to be a thing for sure. Cause I mean, there's a lot of people wear glasses and everyone, I think I would bet everyone at least wears sunglasses, even if you don't wear glasses for your normal. So you have glasses on your face at some point. So it does make a sense. Going back to so it'd be interesting to see. So stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on what we learned.
Stay tuned when we get tech from Facebook.
So
we're insiders.
We're insiders. But going back to the chat, so I think that for personal perspective, I would use chat like WhatsApp or other things. I think that makes more sense because I do have business conversations just like our AR nerd group that you set up and other things in WhatsApp with people globally or locally, just because that's the form that they use. But I also have personal conversations in there as well through these messaging apps. And so if I have an easy way to do AI there versus switching to something else, I think that makes sense. I do like the Grok. If you're an X user, you can say like @Grok, tell me about this post or tell me about this, and they'll actually do it right. And I think that's super interesting because it's, again, what we talk about on business side is embedding AI into the workflow. And this is kind of embedding AI into your user journey because you're already there and it's easy to use. So I think that there's some stake in the game there from a consumer personal side. I don't think it's going to help me on the business side and other things that we do, whether it's I'm trying to do deep research or I'm trying to, build an agent that can help me, create content and all this stuff. So I think there's probably two different sides of where you're going to use it. I do think this is the side that probably won't make it. Maybe it makes its way into business, but I think this one stays more on the consumer personal side than anything else.
Yeah, would make sense. I mean, not that it couldn't go business, but I just don't know if that's the way, honestly.
Yeah.
But you think about, okay, I'm going to give one more Marvel thing, but I think it's on Captain America. I think it's Winter Soldier when the bad guy has the people, the panel of people across the world. They have those seats they sit in. It's all digital, So I just think there's going to be different things like that. There will be like a time and place for business that would make sense, But we'll see.
We'll see. All right. Quick question, because I know we got to jump to our other thing. So, because our title and because we were had technical difficulties says AI everywhere and includes the word ad agencies, I got to ask the question. Sam Altman says AI will replace 95% of agency work. True or false?
What kind of agency?
Let's go with like let's go with a marketing agency.
Yeah, I don't know if 95 is or nuts, but pretty close.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think anything that is service oriented, so a BPO, a marketing agency, or any of those types of agencies, I would agree. I think 95 is probably too high, but I think it will take the majority. So it will take somewhere, 60, 70, 80, maybe it gets to 90, but I think it will take the majority, but not maybe 95. I think there's still a lot to happen to be able to do that. So, all right, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I was just going to say, because one of your quotes says AI can already do 95% of what agencies can do. And I'm like, I don't know if he's worked with a lot of, and I don't know this because I don't know Sam, but I'm like, there's a lot of stuff, at least with marketing from a design perspective, that you can't do with AI yet, So I'm like, that's a lot of what marketing agencies do is design, but strategy and content, absolutely. You can do all that now. So
I agree. I would say the only thing with that is either A, he's so deep in it, he's lost perspective of reality, or B, he's so deep in it, he sees what the future looks like, and he's like, yeah, this thing's happening. I don't know which. I guess we'll find out soon from our buddy. We'll hit him up on WhatsApp here in a second, old Sam. We'll see what he says. All right, y'all. Thanks again for hanging out with us. This is another episode of the AI Business Network. Check us out at aibusinessnetwork.ai. And until next week, see you later. Cheers.
Adios.